The Titans are well known throughout the universe. Species of incomprehensible scale. Many of the universe's most significant forces simply do not affect them, at least not severely. Fluid tension, gas permeation, atomic magnetism. These things, which can be the difference between life or death for most living things, are, to the Titans, of little consequence. Their world was first discovered several millennia ago, that is, millennia in their time. For most living things, that time period is enough to see the rise and fall of entire species, let alone empires. There are none alive who do not know of them, none who remember a time before them. Fewer still who choose not to live with them despite the advantages. For you see, the Titans are not a single creature. No, they are made up of countless billions of living things, all working together in tandem to form a single coherent entity. These living things cannot be spoken to or communicated with. They lack the basic subatomic quanta necessary for thought, or at least necessary for individual thought. Yet, somehow through purely mechanical means, they operate in near-perfect harmony and coordination across the entire vast expanse of a Titan's body without so much as a single entanglement. There are those who have referred to them as a hive mind, but this is inaccurate. A hive mind would imply a collection of numerous coherent minds. The Titans are no such collective. It is a difficult concept to grasp, given how similar to us each individual component of a Titan looks. But if it eases you, think of them like organic machines. Thoughtless mechanisms which exist only to serve their purpose and nothing more. They need not think, they need not act, they need not do any such things. They have harsh, deterministic mechanisms that strictly control every action, or perhaps more accurately, every reaction they perform. An impossibly vast collective of reactive organisms, tuned through unknown means to operate in absolute chemical harmony, each individual doing nothing more than deterministically responding to stimuli, yet somehow forming a responsive and highly active grand design. Yet, it is known that the Titans can think and act. It was not until recently when the mechanism of a Titan's thought was discovered. What was originally assumed to be a static and soulless control center, responsible only for the deterministic automated systems by which the Titan's body is managed and regulated, turned out to be far more complicated than this. Much of the Titan's brain was filled with what seemed to be pointless static, assumed to be a negligible side effect to the control mechanisms that was in reality the Titan's thoughts themselves. It was unbelievable. Through means mechanical, operating on gargantuan scales across vast distances using nothing more than simple electrical pulses, the Titans recreated the conditions of what would otherwise be a purely subatomic mind. The Council of Dukhar has yet to decide if contact should be attempted. We know so little about the Titans, but simply knowing that even their vast actions, which occur over generational timescales, have actual purpose has driven the scientific community into a veritable sugar rush. Already discoveries are being made about how the Titans think and feel. Schisms have already occurred. Thousands of religious groups are torn between abhorrence of those trying to contact their gods and those whose desperation to commune with them leads to support. Wars are already raging. There is one thing that is known for certain, however, at least for those of us who subscribe to science rather than lunatic rambling. The Titans do not know about us. In much the same way that we have known so little about them, due simply to the sheer difference in scale making it difficult to notice the patterns, they seem to be totally unaware of us. They, too, believe us to be mindless organic machines simply plying our way deterministically through existence. This particular point is where many of the religious schisms occurred. Groups whose entire platform rested on their ancient ancestors' direct interactions with the gods who spoke to them began to crumble, despite concrete evidence of Titan actions which did directly involve those ancestors. At first it was passed off by the scientific community as insane fever dreams put to quanta. But now that we know that the Titans do indeed possess thought, there are some who are reconsidering this evidence. Have the Titans studied us as well? Do they also have a scientific community? Religions? Art? There are some who have identified significant discriminations between the Titans. It seems, as far as all testing can conclude, that only the upright featherless bipedal ones possess structures complex enough for thought. The others, who do often possess surface structures beyond simple protective barriers as well as non-bipedal constructions, have apparently far simpler and more rigid structures, leading many to believe that they do not possess intellectual capacity. Furthermore, there is evidence pointing to a world beyond the world. The Titans, it seems, have identified a place beyond the Great Blue, beyond the air void which enshrouds all. Is it their size that enables them to see beyond it? Or have we simply been so preoccupied with our immediate surroundings that none thought to gaze beyond them, regardless of which is the case? There is yet more renewed vigor in the scientific community to begin developing macro-scale megastructures capable of transporting us to this space, as the Titans call it. Rather unimaginative name, but who can fault them? Their minds are limited by their mechanical structures. Just imagine if their thoughts were comprised of quanta. The sheer scale would render each one a supercomputer. Perhaps they really are, and we simply have not yet discovered the true power behind them. After all, something has to be responsible for their creation. The idea that they came about naturally is, well, it's preposterous, really. But however they came about, it was so long ago that to discuss it is likely a moot point. But enough with these new discoveries. Such fields are still burgeoning, and it is entirely possible that half of what I just said will be provably false within a few generations. Let us focus on what the Titans are. As I said before, they are gargantuan collectives of organic machines which do not individually look dissimilar to us. But do not be fooled. These cells do not have any thoughts of their own. The quanta simply aren't there. Instead, they are comprised of comparatively simplistic DNA-driven components rather than the more traditional RNA structures. This is often cited as the key difference between that which truly lives and that which might as well be dead, as only RNA-driven life forms have been found to possess quanta. Scientists have long pondered why this might be, and it remains a mystery to this day. In any case, although there are none who remember a time before the Titans, we can observe glimpses of what such an existence may have been like by looking at those who choose to remain outside of Titan-based collectives. These individuals are often called savages, but much like us, they possess quanta and thus are capable of thinking. Some of them form quite efficient communes, others remain independent, and quite fiercely so. Introductions of them into a Titan-based environment do not often go well, not the least of which is because they simply do not know the PAS proteins. Which brings us to today's subject at last. PAS proteins. These relatively complex molecules are the key to life within a Titan-based collective. Each Titan has its own set of protein keys which lock in a highly specific manner to one other highly specific protein, the PAS protein. Life forms which do not possess a PAS protein, or at least some way to lock onto the Titan's protein keys or otherwise circumvent being checked, will be identified by the killer cells as a threat and likely trigger an immune response. Needless to say, this does not end well for the life form in question. We've all seen what those devourer cells can do even to their own Titan cells, and rest assured that you do not want to end up inside of one. However, those who do possess these PAS proteins, such as all of us here, who inherited them from our forefathers, are afforded the same degree of extreme protection as the entire rest of the Titan. The environment is clean, often free of predators and viruses, totally protected from environmental disasters, and absolutely filled with nutrients that the Titans rarely seem to make use of. In fact, it has been observed that most Titan systems have developed through unknown means methods for processing our waste. In many cases, observations have been made when a particular species of life form disappears from a Titan rarely good. In many cases, there are rather extreme effects, almost as though the Titans themselves have come to rely on us for their very survival. Imagine that. For countless generations, we and the Titans have existed in symbiotic harmony, they offering us protection from the harsh outside world, and we offering them processed material which their automated systems can use to sustain themselves. It really is quite astonishing. Now, before I go on, are there any questions? What is a virus? Come now, class, don't laugh. There is no such as a stupid question. This is a place of learning, not ridicule. I'm glad you asked. A virus is an individual, or perhaps more accurately a clone of an individual that has done the unthinkable. Whether out of some vain attempt at immortality, spite, hatred, or any number of other reasons, they have used their own body to create a weapon most foul. A virus, a half-living, half-thinking, mass-replicating abomination hellbent on destruction. An RNA-driven machine capable of subverting internal organelles and forcing a life form to recreate the virus protein structure en masse until it quite literally explodes from sheer quantity. dumping countless numbers of new viruses into the immediate area, each of which capable of infecting one other cell to create the same fate. Horrifying indeed. Most viruses are minuscule, often small enough to slip past your membrane. Calm down. Calm down, they are also usually tuned to a specific family. That's right, virus can only infect those of a specific descent or ancestry. Chances are, long ago one of your ancestors was hated badly enough that some other individual decided to give up everything just for a chance to wipe out them and their entire genetic line. Of course, as time goes on, these genetic lines can grow quite large and results in viruses capable of targeting significant portions of the populace. It is said that the oldest virus can target any life form, though this is little more than rumor and speculation. It is, unfortunately, also the case that Titan-specific viruses also exist. Yes, it is true. Despite the staggering degree of diversity in the various organic cells that make up a Titan, every single one of them possesses the same genetic code. All of them functionally clones of one another, differing only in which specific genes are active or not. This is the hallmark of DNA selective gene expression. Though some RNA structures are capable of it, it is not common. It is in fact believed that those RNA structures may be the missing link between Titan cells and most living things. But, regardless, there exist viruses which are living evidence of ancient Titan animosity. Species of half-living RNA machines capable of inflicting unimaginable damage upon our homes are Titans. Though there is often little we can do to stem the unceasing tide, it is not unheard of for valiant Bacterium colonies to stand in defense of their Titan and aid in the war effort. It is these conflicts which have provided the bulk of observational data concerning Titan immune responses. Let us have a moment of silence to respect their sacrifice in the name of science and the defense of life.